Hello and welcome back. Still got the Baltic tank on the railway with these first series TC coaches. Let's see if we can follow that around. Now somebody did mention to me in the comments last week that if I use little pieces of drinking straws to hold the couplings together to prevent the uncouplings. So I have gone ahead and done that. It's a brilliant idea, so thank you very much for the kind person who mentioned that. We'll just bring it round here. You can see the new track work I've been developing back there. We'll just bring it to a stop just along here and we'll see if we can have a quick look at that. So it was just the locomotive which was uncoupling from the coaches last week. They kept doing it through the station on the top right there near the Dublo station, which we can't see at the moment because we're looking down at the coupling there. You can see the piece of drinking straw between the two couplings there, and that just encourages it not to separate when the hooks bounce up and down. So it seems to be very effective and quite easy to do, and it doesn't require any serious modifications. There you can see a hook about to bounce up there, and the little piece of drinking straw is just preventing them from separating, and they'll probably just bounce back down again in a second or two. So I've gone ahead and done that on the whole rake. Let me widen this camera a little bit and we'll have a look at a couple of other things. So we are going to have a look at the Kobo in a moment. It is sitting on the bench to have a little bit of a closer look at while I've got it apart. So let's have a look at this drinking straw here. As it was recently Halloween, I had it in mind that I'd seen black drinking straws in a store locally. But obviously when I went back to look for them, they weren't there. There was no Halloween merchandise left. So I just got some of these red and white stripy ones and coloured in a bit black with a marker. And that's done the trick really quite nicely. So again, thank you very much for that information. It's really made a difference there. I'll be using that again. So if we just sort of wander over here and have a look at the point work and the tracks that I've introduced there. So that turntable is going to be quite nice there. I have access from both inside and outside lines, so it's a nice way of turning it around, and I've introduced another sort of semi-loop which can be used from the inside line, which this great looking train was just running around. Let's take it through again and we can see it. So let's give that a little power. So that right hand side of the railway we're looking at now, not much has gone on that side. It's all the action's been on the left side, so it's eaten up most of my time. So that's coming off the inside line there, and this loop there, you'll get access to those sidings eventually. And we've got the diamond crossing, and then that'll loop back around. Let's go up in the air a bit there, and then back onto the inside line. So I was quite pleased with that. Let's just bring that to a stop there. I'm just going to put the controls down now, and we'll just have a swift look over here. So some of these point motors I've already gone ahead and checked. So motors are all working, but whether they're working when they throw the point blades is a different story. So about half of them I've worked through. So the ones at the far end, let's have a look over there, on that side haven't worked through. Motors work, but we haven't got them sort of in harmony with the point blades yet. So yeah, so this one, and I think that one I've got working, but the ones on the far side nearer I'll get the words out, the Dublo loop over there, nearer there, those ones I haven't played with, and I've got no point motors installed on any of the other points at the moment. Some of this track I have pinned down provisionally, and I have used pins purely because I haven't got any of those nice track screws long enough to do this at the moment and go through the cork as underlay at the moment. I've got some coming in the post, but like many other things at the moment here in the UK, we're undergoing a few disruptions to the postal service. So ideally they'll be here in the next week or so. We are actually 24th of December today, very early morning. I don't know whether we can just look out the window. It's not even, it's barely light yet, so I think we're about the 7:30 in the morning mark at the moment. So we do have the Kobo sitting on the bench there. We'll have a glance at that at the moment, and we'll get some of those sort of tinplate wagons out to go with that a little later on, and we'll have a closer look of what I've been doing over there. But so it's been quite quite a lot of work, quite interesting, and we will look closer at that. But I think we'll just have a look at the Kobo on the workbench there now. So here's my 3-rail Kobo, possibly slightly nicer condition than my 2-rail one. Definitely used and slightly play worn. And as I mentioned earlier, it is missing a number of parts there. So you can see that glazing unit through there. A little bit of paint loss on the buffers, but it's quite a nice thing. Very, very heavy. Let's have a look over the top. Plenty of detail in the top of the moulding there, isn't there? A little bit of paint loss there too. Let's just have a look across the end of it there, just hoping we're going to keep focus with this here. Lots of vents painted up there. Let's have a look inside. Focus hasn't been very good, trying to sort of hold on to the inside of that. You can see the Hornby Dublo's name in the bottom there. There we go. We're just losing some focus there. Let's see if we can encourage that to come back again. So it really doesn't like going in there. There we go. We're back again. Let's turn that around, and then we can just see inside there. That really does fool the autofocus. And we've got the securing screw here. Great big thing with a washer. Just thought I'd put it back in there to prevent from losing it. So yeah, let's pop that down before we drop it. It's a relatively heavy thing. And let's grab the chassis. Again, not exactly light in itself, so fairly impressive looking piece of engineering, I think. So I think most things are fairly original on it. A little bit of sellotape was fractured there, which is holding that cabling in place, and somebody's put a makeshift sort of bearing on there for the bogie, and it's all sort of disintegrated. I have sort of come up with a version of it to replace that with. We can see those lovely skates on the bottom there for pickup, and there's an original original Dublo coupling there, and the one on the other end is missing. So we'll just have a look at that in a moment. So they are quite lovely things. As I say, the weight is the most astounding thing. They really are very, very heavy. Let's turn that around and have a look on the other side. That's a fairly impressive thing, I think. I know I keep saying that. You see that shaft underneath there that drives the wheels. It comes down with that gearing underneath the armature. Such a lovely item. There we can see the loss of the traction tyres, the residue of the original tyres all stuck to it, so that's going to need a little bit of cleaning up. And you see when we get focus back again, we see where the coupling should go there, so we'll get the replacement on there and the traction tyres. I'm not going to video it all coming apart, and we'll have a look at it once it's all back and running, and we'll get it on the railway with some of those sort of tinplate wagons we saw a few videos ago, which I haven't managed to get on the railway. So there's the chassis of the Kobo, all running nicely now. So I thought we'd just have a swift glance at it. Now it's on the rails, just before we get the top back on it. So we've got the traction tyres and the extra coupling fitted on there. I have noticed though the original coupling, which is on the, I can't remember which end's the original now looking at it, but it actually lifts up in the air a little bit, and I have taken it off and encouraged it not to lift up so much in the air. I think that's the original one there. Let's have a look. No, I think that's the replacement. This is the original one here. At this end it does lift up in the air, so it was uncoupling earlier on, so I've just encouraged that to stay down, but hopefully that'll stay that way, otherwise we'll replace that one as well. So let's just give that a run round there. And we'll just go the other way, and then we'll get the top back on there, and we'll hook it up with some wagons. There we go. Let's just put the controls down. Try and reach behind me. I'm just going to rotate the camera around now. So we've got all sorts of other stuff around here. Let's just have a look at that diamond crossing. So a lovely optimistic piece of track design. So I had to put a screw down there because it sort of bows up so much in the middle. It's so much smoother to run it when it's sort of, it's not pulled hard down, but it's pulled quite a way down, and it really does make a difference to its running. So let's just grab this chassis here and we'll have a quick look over it. So when we're having a look at it on the bench, I completely forgot to look at the service sheet. So let's have a quick glance at that. That's going to send the colour balance away a little bit. So this covers the 2-rail and the 3-rail variant. There's that little part there that somebody had made up with what looked like either a spare piece of rubber. It looks a little bit like a floor tile, to be honest, and it had begun to disintegrate, so it had done the job, but it was letting the buggy run around in an unusual fashion, I think. On the 2-rail variant, there's a washer underneath. I believe that it might insulate that from the bogie. I can't remember now, but anyway, we'll have a look at that one day. It's too complicated to get the other one out at the moment. There's just too much going on, so we'll just have a quick look at that. Let me zoom in a little bit and see if we can get a little bit better view over it there. So that's just a 3D sort of like bearing or washer that I've made to go in there. I've got another one here. So that's just a tiny little part there. Does the trick. So it just slots in there quite nicely. I think that's going to sort of cover it for what I need anyway. So let's have a quick look over it. Let's lift it up. I've got traction tyres on there. Already begun to get very, very dirty. So a very soft rubber. Very, very soft. And those skates were completely clean when I put those on the rails. I've just been having a quick run around and they're already beginning to pick up dirt. So yeah, I think that's quite a nice thing. I did remagnetise it, but it's certainly improved it. Actually, I cleaned up that shaft because a little bit of surface rust has begun to develop on there as well. So I've given that a bit of a clean. So that looks a bit smarter now. So I'll get the top back on that, and then we'll pick up some wagons. So there she is, all back together on the rails. Let's have a quick look around here. Got too many things standing around to bump into on the board here. So let's give that a little power and we'll see if we can follow that around. Makes a completely different sound now. It's got that sort of echo chamber screwed to the top of it. Let's see if we can follow that around. We'll just go beyond those points up there. There we go. We'll just stop that there. And let's see if we can just change these points. So we'll have that one and that one, and then we'll bring that through the point work. I should really look where I'm going. And if we close that one and that one, I'm just going to turn the camera around now. So I think we've got to open up the points at the other end of here, otherwise we're sitting in a dead spot. So when I've got the wagons, we'll come out here, but that should also energise the track that we're sitting on at the moment. Let's just rotate nice and smoothly around there. So let's just run that backwards and pick up the wagons. Slight hesitation there. I'm not sure whether we've got those. Let's zoom in and have a look. Let's see if we can see down there. Yeah, I think we might have those. Let's see if we can get that to move away. So a bit of a meat train here. So I think the Kobo came along in about 1961. I'm unsure of the dates on these wagons, probably mid to late 50s. we'll have a glance at them in a moment. Let's just bring that out onto the main line and then we'll sort out the point work. There we go. Yeah, definitely do a start just tacking these things down. Going to get much more continuity out of it as well. Let's go a little bit wider, and let's see if we can continue to bring that around the railway. Let's rotate that round. And let's see if we can catch her coming down behind the station here. So angle that up a little bit. Negotiate the diamond crossing without too much trouble there. We'll come a bit wider. We haven't lost any wagons. Looks pretty good. So I like the 3 wagons on the end. They're lovely. They just involve a wooden block with a paper wrapping. Let's see if we can bring this to a stop round here again, and we'll have a swift look over those. There we go. I'm just going to rotate the camera around again because that's getting very heavy on its side like that. Let's have a quick look at these wagons. So I'm unsure of catalogue numbers and dates and so on, but let's have a glance at them anyway. This one's had a bit of a tumble in the past. So I think we already got one of these on the railway behind me, sitting in the sidings on a train of wagons. So lovely metal wheels there. You can see that's had a bit of a squash. I should probably take the pliers to that and see if I can. Well, actually, no, I'll probably just do that with my thumbs and sort of encourage that back into shape. Again, all that beautiful detail. It's definitely well played with. Been around the tracks a few times. That coupling seems to have taken a little bit of a knock there as well. Lovely printed on glazing there. That's a really lovely effect. I do quite like that. I think I've said before, it's sort of part of the crudeness of these things is all part of what they are. Let's lift one of these off. So British Railways insulated meat. Let's have a look at that. So that's just like a paper wrap on a wooden block, and you've got that sort of hook on the or eye on the top there. You could get that on the crane. So I don't have the good shed with the crane, but I do have the crane as somebody's sort of hacksawed the bit of platform off, but I haven't managed to find anywhere to put that on the railway yet. So it's a rather nice solution to making a load, isn't it? So early containerized load. So let's pop that. Actually, we'll look at the wagon while we're here. So again, metal wheels. You can see the writing on the bottom there. Are we the right way up? There we go, Hornby Dublo. Made in England, the Meccano Limited. Coupling's not too bent. Some of these have seen a bit more life than others. So let's pop that back on the rails over here. Oops. There we go. Let's sort of encourage those backwards. Couplings behaving themselves. So let's pick off one of these. I think these are all the same wagon, but the colours have shifted quite a bit on the and on the tops. So quite beaten up and potentially rusty. Let's have a look at that. Lovely. Let's get the glare off there. Insulated meat. So all that effect, that wood effect, my finger's getting caught on it there. Ladders up the back. So vacuum pipe printed on it there. Great looking things. So I think that's got Hornby Dublo in the bottom there. Let's see, there we go, you can get it there. made in England Meccano. You can see that at the top of it is just a tin plate is just folded through the chassis. So a cast chassis. Not sure what sort of metal it's cast in. They're not that heavy. I mean, they're relatively light, but they're quite lovely things. Definitely all the parts of that are quite loose. So anyway, I thought 3 of those and 3 of those containerized ones looks made quite an interesting looking train. So let's just bring that one together. Those coupling. They've done it. They've gone together. So I think that's probably about it. So during the course of the next week or so, this has been Christmas week here. I know this video is probably going out late January or early February at the moment. So this is going to be the Series 3 sort of sidings coming in here. So the track work's not really prepared in the sidings. So the track work on that loop we looked at a little bit earlier, that's all prepared quite nicely. I'm thinking it would be nice to have the uncoupler here, so you could bring things in and leave them in the loop and then run round it, and then we could pick them up at the other end. So it's quite a nice length, and we could have an uncoupler there as well. So yeah, these cables will be dropped down to the board to give me some flexibility with the turntable, because I can approach that from the outside line, and this way around we can approach this from the inside line. So I was quite pleased with that. So it's been a degree of sort of putting the track down and moving things around and seeing what works. You can see the condition of some of this track is sort of questionable. So again, none of this has been prepared for use really. So it's all to be fiddled with. There's a cut piece there. It was cut to fit something, and then I changed my mind again. But a couple of other uncouplers here, so we can get some more of those in. I think we should have some of those in on the station over here. That would be quite nice to have them there. But yeah, so it's all coming together. Let's grab the controls, and we'll see if we can get going. I'll put them down and can't see them. So let's get a bit more power here. So should we zoom in a little bit? There we go. Let's get this underway now. So an interesting model. I don't think it was very popular at the time. I've got a much earlier video showing my 2-rail version of this, so I'll leave a link to that in the description box. Actually, let's see if we can just bring that around. Actually, why don't we just to finish that off with, why don't we just put it back in the siding where it came from. Let me go a little bit wider here. And in the end I've stopped that right on the points, haven't I? So let's go back a little bit more. There we have it. So we'll bring that in there. Let's bring that forward. Had to go the wrong direction at one point. Let's do that, and then because we're in a dead spot now, we're going to have to open up the other end of the siding. So let's move down here and open this up. There we go. I don't know whether that point was in shot there. I just noticed the camera in the corner of my eye. I wasn't really looking at where I was going, so let's back that up. We'll bring them back to where we started from. Ooh. It's not liking something here. Let's give that a go. So everything's gone dead here. So when we came through here before, there was a stall or a stutter or something here, and I don't know whether the wagon came off, but I didn't spot it, and it turned out that the lead wagon was sitting off the rails there, just shorting everything out, which is why nothing was working. So it's the simple things in the end. So let's give that another go. Let's just back that across and see if we have any better luck with it this time, sorry. There we go. I had trouble with that point in the past, with the Duchess didn't like this point, and I had to introduce a little bit of a bend into that centre rail to get that to run. And also this, I don't know whether you can see it, has got a little bit more of a bend in it than it really needs, so I could have a go at straightening that out, so that's not the smoothest piece of track work there. I know we were just about to say goodbye there, but while we're at it, let's just open up the tail ender here and just run this onto the outside line and under this elevated section. Just while we're at it, let's open that one. So that'll come through that diamond and across onto the outside line there. I was trying to keep this video a bit shorter, but again we find ourselves running on a little bit. But let's give it a go. Let's see if these behave over the diamond going backwards. There we go. And under that elevated section. So reasonably well behaved. Tiny stutters here and there, but I mean this is all under development and it is quite old track. Let's just run that back for good measure. Let's come a bit wider and see if we can see that across the top of the station. I'd thought I might have had trouble with the height of that diesel locomotive under there. I hadn't checked the heights of those when I was sort of measuring it up. And there we go. That's back where we started with the wagons. I think that really is it this time. Thanks again for watching. Goodbye now.